All right, everybody, what is up? It's Goodman, and I'm back with another video. So, the last times I was recording, I was using my normal camera, which I actually used to record, and the issue I was having was that I was coming across as though I was recording out of, the 1930s, and I'm sure everyone in this day and age is like, you have to have like 4K and like 40 or 60 frames per second. So I'm like, well, whatever. So I didn't have that. Now I kind of do. But anyway, I'm back with my DJI Pocket 2 or whatever this is called, with my little teeny microphone that I'll be using. So hopefully audio's good. Hopefully the video is better. And we've got another video of us. And by us, I mean me and Mahmoud being at the beach. I think this is one of the last videos I have of us at the beach. Because this is just us finishing painting. Maybe there's one more, I can't really remember, but just bear with us. We're gonna get right back to Section 8 content, I promise, okay? But I filmed it, so let me just get through it, okay, please. All right, let's get started. So we got Mahmoud, where we stopped last time, sipping on some Crystal Light. Anyway, this one is just all about painting. So we had the people that came in here and renovated this thing, like we've already talked about the handyman versus the Section 8 landlord, which of course the Section 8 landlord reigns supreme for certain reasons. They didn't paint any of the doors upstairs, and they didn't paint any of the trim upstairs, or at least the trim around the doors. Some of the trim, like the baseboards and stuff, have been painted and things like that, but nothing when it came to like the doors had actually been painted. So Mahmoud has never painted before. Believe it or not, right? How do you go through 20 years of life and never paint anything? So I'm teaching him how to paint these doors and how to paint them properly, so we're not getting stuff like all over the ground and things like that. Do we do a great job? Yeah, I suppose. Could we have done better? Probably. Also, that skylight that you see in the video there, that skylight was never painted either, and I forgot to paint it when I was done with this project. So I don't know, whatever. Anyway, if you're painting doors, I guess if you want some advice from Goodman here, it's just you need to make sure you segment it out the right way. Make sure you're doing it like where you actually remember, okay, I did go over that part, okay, I didn't go over that part, which again is what I'm trying to teach Mahmoud here, because I'm like, you need to make sure that everything is like done, because I don't want to come back. At this point, I'm tired. Not only am I working on this house, but I've got the two kids that are sitting having the best time of their lives at the beach and at the pool, while I'm sitting inside dealing with this place, making it look better so we can sell it. Has it sold at this point? No, it has not sold at this point. I think it is overpriced. I have let my mother-in-law know that, who has probably let my aunt know that, and I love them all. I just think that they need to price it realistically for what the market is, which they have not done. So, doesn't matter. That's not my problem though. I'm just here trying to make the place look good and for it to sell. So that's what I'm going to do. So lots and lots of painting. We did this literally for, I want to say 2 days of painting, or maybe 3 days of painting, all in all. And it was just kind of, it got pretty ridiculous at the end, but whatever. The doors look a lot better now that they're nice and white. I don't know what I was doing with the camera there. Oh yeah, that's what I got. Thank you, Mahmoud, for that. A lot of cleanup, because I was going pretty fast, and we're sitting here like, we need to, I kept telling Mahmoud, you're the one dropping the paint on the ground. It probably was me. I say it to him because I don't want to have to deal with it being my fault, okay? I don't want to deal with that. But anyway, getting all the paint up and everything like that, it will fall on the ground if you don't use a drop cloth. No matter how careful you are, it's gonna flick everywhere. It's just, use a drop cloth, or do what I'm doing, which is make sure you have a nice wet rag that can get up the water-based paint. If you don't have water-based paint, you're gonna have to get some mineral spirits or some paint thinner. That's just how things go. Anyway, so I kept moving and working on this stuff. As you can see, I'm like trying to pull away like the little bits of trash that fall into my paint, because am I actually trying to make my paint, like, am I thinning out the paint? Am I using a strainer? No, I'm not. I'm just going right into where the paint is, and that's just how life goes. So anyway, going over this, I think we did 2 coats on each door, and 2 coats on every single piece of trim around the door. So you can see Mahmoud's doing the door frames, and then we got to leave it. The best part is kids got to sleep, kids got to do naps. So when you're sitting here thinking, I can't do this paint project for my wife, if she watches these videos, she's going to understand that you can, because I had kids here too, and this sucked, I'll tell you that. Like, you had to make sure, like, the kids, we couldn't shut the doors for this nap which was just crazy town, because when I shut the doors for them, then they're like, okay, well, it's time to go to sleep. But when it's open, they're like, oh, Dad wants me to come out and we can play or whatever. So, it was mayhem, to say the least, at this house. But nonetheless, we got the work done, and again, really what it came down to is just seeing like all of the little bits that they never finished. Right? That was what irked me the most. It made me mad, because it was like, my grandparents paid for this thing. They paid a lot of money to this guy to get it fixed, and he just didn't do it. He just gave up. This louvered door right here, my favorite. I mean, how many times did I have to just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back? If anyone's painting a louvered door, you know what I'm talking about. It's absolutely horrible. It's absolutely horrendous. It sucks. You miss thousands of spots all the time. I did not paint the other side. I just said I'm going to paint the outside. Who cares about the inside? Doesn't really matter. Now, getting to this ceiling. So we tried to, so we patched that part on the ceiling, we all know, and I went ahead and put some ceiling paint on it or something like that, or maybe it was primer, and I was like, I'll just see if this blends in enough. It did not blend in, as you can see. So I bought this Sherlock accessory for my paintbrush, because I need to paint. Now I have to paint the entire ceiling. Problem is, we have that staircase, so I can't just get a ladder over to where the ceiling and the wall meet each other. So I got this thing where you put your paintbrush into it, you put it on one of your poles, and you can actually paint where the seam is with a brush, and it's pretty precise. I'm going to show you guys in just a second. You'll see it. I was actually very surprised with how it came out. I thought it was going to be absolutely horrible and it wasn't going to work out. I did rush through part of it, and you'll see like I mess up and I get some paint on the walls. I do go back later. I don't think I've filmed it. I go back later because I felt really bad about it, and I repaint it with this same thing, but with the blue paint on it to get, and then look, you in the TikToks on there, doing my thing with that. So anyway, and the funny thing, I don't even know if I know I did release this on TikTok or whatever. Oh, I'm sorry, YouTube Shorts, I'm sorry, it's YouTube Shorts only. Promise. So anyway, you get your paintbrush locked in, slowly, like, right, you're putting pressure on there and then just gliding along the side. And I have to say, if I'd taken my time a little bit more, I wouldn't have had to go back and actually fix this thing. I was very surprised at how well this worked, because there was no other way to paint this thing because of the stairwell being where it is. I couldn't just like, oh, I'm going to get a ladder and put it across to the sheetrock, because then, we go through the sheetrock, and then you're talking, how many more days of work do I really want to do here? And the answer is 0. I don't want to do a lot of work. So, yeah. Anyway, this thing had to be the key, or we were kind of done right at that point. I had to get Mahmoud to put me on his shoulders, and I had to ride him, and then we would just, whatever. Anyway, so all in all, the brush Sherlock thing worked. If you want it, go to, I think it's a Home Depot only. You cannot get it at Lowe's. I tried Lowe's because Lowe's is closer, but I had to drive out to Home Depot, which is fine because I like Home Depot way better than Lowe's. Lowe's is horrible. Well, at least the one here. The one there is actually pretty nice. The people there are nice too. So anyway, now we're getting back to actually just painting normally, which is great because we got all that thing done. And there's one more paint hack I'm going to show you guys at the end. I remember it coming up here soon. When you're just trying to spot paint on a wall, as opposed to having to paint the entire wall, which Goodman is not doing, because that requires way more work than Goodman really wants to do. So anyway, we got the big roller. I like to use the big rollers for these parts. I made Mahmoud use the small roller because I'm like, you can't handle this thing. There's just no way. But getting the big roller, this thing makes it so like, a paint job that's going to take you like, I don't know, for a wall, getting a wall done like 20 minutes, you probably do it in 10 with this thing. I love the big rollers, and you just got to get used to it. It's better because when you're pushing, if you give any pressure, it's even pressure overall, right? It's not like the small rollers where like only one side has a little handle that goes in, and then like you put too much pressure on one side, it like bends and stuff like that. So with this roller, you don't have that issue. And we see it in a lot of my other videos, I use this type of roller. I don't like to paint anymore. I don't like to do really anything anymore, which is kind of crazy. How do I make videos if I don't like to do anything? But I really don't. I try to give as much stuff away to like Roberto and stuff. I try to spend more time with my kids. I've been reading a book called The Small and Mighty Real Estate Investor. And pretty much it is my strategy that I did not know existed. It's just what I do anyway. I would recommend anyone reading that book But my goal is to spend my time with my family. I know that one is probably trying to tell me to spend my time going and traveling and doing a bunch of debauchery and whatever. I just want to spend time with my kids. I just want to spend time with my family. So if I don't have to do stuff like this, then I don't. I call Roberto, and Roberto does stuff like this. And you're wondering, where is Roberto? I invited him on this trip, actually. But then I thought about it, and I was like, number one, I don't want him here because I don't want my family, like, I don't know. I just didn't feel right having him there with my family sleeping in the same place. It's just weird. I don't know. I love Roberto. Roberto knows I love him. But he was like, I'm going to bring my helper with me. And I'm like, I don't want your helper with you and then also my family there. That's not what I'm here for. So whatever. It was just a very interesting predicament. We're happy that Mahmoud came. So he was a godsend, which is very good. So then we got the blue paint out to do all the little touch-up stuff, which you see here. Getting all of the crown molding taken care of, that we put that splice piece in, so we're getting it where it doesn't, my wife said it doesn't look good. So once I hear that, I'm like, okay, I gotta make this thing look better, I guess. So we get the brush out, make sure that everything is nice and cut in correctly. Around these spindles, we had to go around each spindle here you see on the stairs. Why? Because the people that painted, you see all the drip marks? That's not from us. That is from the people before us that were supposed to be doing this professionally. And now you have a Section 8 landlord coming in to do this professionally. So that's like the issue we were dealing with here. And we sat doing this, like trying to get as bad. Like you see Mahmoud with a freaking wet towel, right? This kid that doesn't even know how to paint. A wet towel making this stuff work and look a lot better, okay? Why couldn't they have done this? Because they're lazy. They're lazy sacks of bones. So anyway, Mahmoud and I sat on this step for like, I don't know, it was probably like an hour of just getting this paint stuff down, getting everything like perfect, nice and cut in, looking what it's supposed to look like for all these years. I mean, our family couldn't even enjoy it looking nice, and now they can, but no one's allowed to even go down to the beach anymore because they're trying to sell it. Is life fair? Not necessarily. So anyway, that's pretty much what we did for this part. And again, it was just a lot of tedious work, not enjoyable at all. You just sitting there, you talk about what? At least with this camera setup I have, I could talk to him. The other camera, we have to like sit there and talk to the camera. We can't talk to each other about whatever's going on. Pretty much it was just a bunch of, inflammatory statements to each other, like you're an idiot, no, you're an idiot, you're a moron, no, you're a moron, and that's what Mahmoud and my relationship is pretty much like at this point. So, yeah. Anyway, whatever. So we just kept going at this. Took, like I said, very long time, not enjoyable. But I wish the people before us would have just done it correctly in the first place, and then we wouldn't have to do any of this stuff. And it really makes you wonder what other apartments that they've done look exactly like, kind of like this, that need to be fixed. Whatever. This is my hack that I wanted you guys to see. So if you guys, we had a bunch of water spots on this wall, okay? And the way that I do this to fix it without having to paint the whole wall is you put the tiniest amount of paint on the edge of your brush and you brush it just vigorously as fast as you possibly can. Because what it does is it spreads the paint out so thinly that it doesn't make, like you can't see where you've painted, and it covers up all the spots. So we got all the water spots off. We didn't have to paint the whole wall, and we just had to paint just the little spots wherever they appeared. And it actually came out really, really well. This was an experiment, which actually worked amazingly. So I'll be using this a lot more like when I go to my houses, if I ever paint again. But again, little bit of paint on the end, and then just as fast as you possibly can, just brush everywhere. You'll cover it so lightly that it will get rid of the stain, but you won't have to deal with the problems of like the wall looking different or anything like that. So we sat here, did this whole wall. I think we did the other wall in the other bathroom because there was a bunch of stains on that one too. They're water stains because they didn't put semi-gloss. Why didn't you put semi-gloss paint? It's so simple. Just put semi-gloss paint in, okay? It's not that hard to do. But they didn't, so that's okay. We're still putting flat paint in because that's what we have to do, apparently. Yeah, thank you, Mahmoud, for the hair flip and whatnot. But that was it. We got everything done. I don't know if this is the last one. Hopefully this is the last one with the beach. If not, whatever. We'll come back to it. We'll figure it out. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching the videos. We're almost done with the beach stuff. Like, subscribe, comment. We love comments. And with that, this is Goodman signing off. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
This is Goodman back with another Suck It Up!